Well, thanks for joining me on Facebook and YouTube Live, and thanks as always to sponsors: Galaxy Blinds, Cornerstone Business Solutions, Advanced Utility Solutions, Smith & Friends, Estate Agents, Cleveland Systems Engineering, Dovecot, and TGM Cars. Before I talk about the game and get into depth about the game and what I've seen last night, I've been asked to plug these. These are legacy number shirts. There's only 2 left. There's all the signatures. Some Borough legends there: Archie Stevens, Pallister, Henry. So they're obviously up-to-date shirts. There's a yellow tinge, but that's off the light and that's not off the shirt. So there's Fry and Cochrane. There's only 2 left. 2 left. They're £100 at the shop. I think the shop was about 65 quid. And these bottles here, commemorative bottles. These were all meant to go in the night, but never the time. We ran out of time to punt them. And if you buy either, I forgot about this, you get a Christmas card. This is a painting I did. When did I do it? A year ago. With a Borough theme. Up the Borough, Santa, number 7 there, 2 dogs. Obviously the bridge. And I signed this one to Big Rob Edwards, but I scrolled him out. Obviously, he's gone, so it's no good. So you can order via 7.enterprise@hotmail.co.uk. That's the word 7.enterprise@hotmail.co.uk. Signed by Borough legends like Mowbray, Pallister, Slavin, Terry Cochrane, Archie Stevens, and so on. And as I say, you get this that personalised to who you like, and you get a certificate of authenticity. Can you see that? Is that a good picture? It's not a very good picture. Ah, there. Yeah. Okay, game last night. Team. Saul Brennan goal. Silvera, Jones, Ayling and Britton, McGree, Brown, Hackney, Morris, Whittaker and Conway. That was the starting 11. On the bench was Taggart, McLaughlin, Bazog, Gilbert, Nepan, Senny, Hanson, McCormack and eBay. No eBay. Let you tune into in the social network. IBEH. I think he's a young kid. So that was the starting 11. What did I see? I thought it was good atmosphere. I thought the first 5-10 minutes we started well, and then all of a sudden they came alive. Getting into the game, they were 7 points ahead. There were 23 more goals, and they're no mugs. They're in the pomp at the minute. They're at the very best at the minute. They were getting beat 2-0 recently with West Brom and came back and won 3-2. That shows you what they're all about. But they came, and as I say, we started well, bit of intent there, and then all of a sudden they came alive. The lads ran by about 3 players. Poor defending, if I'm honest. Yes, you went wiped out. You went by one, nutmegged Morris, continued, beat another, went as if he was going to ground. He kept his feet and he played it to the big man and he killed it top left-hand corner. Great goal, but poor goal from your point of view. And then the second goal, the ball went out right. He sort of hit it in a half volley and it was whipped in. It wasn't high, it was just whipped in. And the lad got ahead to it 2. And we were going into half-time 2-0 thinking, if we don't get a goal here. Anyway, Whittaker came to the rescue. Well done to Whittaker. He had a couple of shots last night, scored a goal. That's 4 for the season. He's now officially a top scorer. So that was a boost. Then we come out the second half and we really put in a shift. I was going to say as good as them. I thought we were better than them. Anyway, an own goal after a few minutes into the second half. Balls come in for the left, and the boys hit it into his own net. 2-2, game on. The Borough fans are up for it, the team's up for it. And then a ball gets whipped in the right. It's a daisy cutter on the floor. The keeper's diving, but Conway's come in, ghosted in back stick, if you've not seen it. And it's a side foot finish, tap it. When I scored them regular, they would say, oh, tap in. Anybody can do that. Conway never. Conway hit it 25 feet over the bar. I'll be honest, I don't know how he missed it. Look, the keeper might have saved it. The keeper was there. I think the keeper had dived, but there was still enough of a gap to just side foot it in. It looked as if he was leaning. We must have been leaning back for it to go 25 feet in the air. It was nearly impossible to hit it that height. Everybody misses them. Centre forwards miss them, but Conway unfortunately got a bit of flack because of that, and you can see him doing this with his shot throughout the remaining embers before he get taken off. And even when he came off towards the bench, he was covering his face. He knows it happens, But it was a bad miss. And that was a defining moment for me in the game. If we score that, I think we put them to bed and that's the end of them. But I did say to my mate who was alongside me, I said, by the way, they will have a wee spell in the game. And they did. They scored 2 goals in 2 minutes and ended up winning 4-2. It wasn't a 4-2 game, but it was because that was the score. But, I mean, there's some team for scoring goals, aren't they? I mean, it's incredible the amount of goals are scored. And they don't concede a lot. So they're ideal at both ends. But we give it a good shot. But let's not kid ourselves. In the last third, and I've said this, if you watch this regular, I've said this for quite some time before the event, we're simply not good enough. We've not got an actual striker. We've not got an actual number 10, as was. We've not got another natural number 10. We have not got an actual outside left or outside right, who are wingers. So we've not got a natural centre forward, natural number 10, natural left and right winger. We've got none of them. The recruitment, everybody was, oh, it's great recruitment this summer. Well, if Senny can't get in the team, and Hansen can't get in the team, and Strelic, I don't know what's happened to him, he can't get in the team when we're not scoring goals, they might as well move on. I would be knocking the coach's door now and saying, listen, I've been watching guys in front of me not scoring goals. I mean, you go back to Conway. Look, people say Conway's what is amazing. It is. But that's the minimum you should expect for a professional footballer. I could pick a fit 24-year-old fan at the crowd and say, come on, son, just run a bit like a headless chicken. Close everybody down, work your ass off, go up and down, backward, forward. Anybody can do that. If you're a centre forward, you need to hold it up. You need to bring players into play. You need vision. You need to play it and peel off and play 1-2s and create and score. Score. Conway's last goal was August. That was, I mean, we're going into December. He's not good enough. I blame Conway because he's the guy that's carrying the can up there, but he's running here, there and everywhere. He needs a partner. Last night we played, like, you might as well say 5 midfielders, because Whittaker's not a right winger, as I mentioned. McGree's not a left winger. You had the Brown, and you had Hackney and Morris, who got injured. Let's hope the lad recovers quickly. But not good enough. Not good enough. It was always going to be tough. Let's not kid ourselves. They're a fine team, and they showed it. The quality's of goal. The first 2 goals were magnificent. You know, but people keep saying we were very good against Coventry. We were, but no, in the last third we weren't. And we went against Oxford good in the last third. And we haven't been the majority of the season. You know, recruitment's one thing. Scoring goals is the hardest thing in a game. And we cannot get the recipe. And I don't care how good Hellberg is, how good a coach he is. You need to have the tools to make it work. And I don't think we've got the tools. I says it on Saturday. If we play 4 at the back, flat back 4, the 2 wingers, or guys who's filling holes as wingers, we've not got a dope, have we? They 2 wide men aren't good enough to get quality into the box. If we play 3 centre-backs and wing-backs, the wing-backs aren't good enough to get balls into the box in the opposing third. The number 10 role is up for grabs. There wasn't even anybody playing it last night. And then up front, not good enough. A striker should be judged by goals, but he's there to hold it up. And the other thing is, with nobody competing, being aggressive, you know, mix it up. Oh, it's not working on the floor. Let's get balls in the box and headers and elbows and blood. We don't do that. We did play some good stuff last night, but so did they. But the difference was they scored goals. 2 lads up front got 2 apiece, and that was with their top goal scorer going off. Anyway, as I say, I was frustrated like the rest of the Borough fans that the points had dipped. I just looked at the table. There's games tonight. I'm sure you know this, but so Coventry's played. Well, the majorities have played 17. Coventry's 40 points. Stoke City, I mean, they've got a 10-point gap now. Stoke City's went above us, 30 points. Borough's 30 points. Ipswich 27 points. They've played 16 games. They've got a game in hand. Preston, They've got 27 points in Bristol City, 26. And thereafter, 26, 25 down to 24 to Birmingham in the top 10. But tonight, there's Blackburn Rovers versus Queen's Park Rangers. Millwall, so that's a game that Millwall are playing. Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United play Portsmouth. Wrexham, Bristol City. So Bristol City, they'll be looking for a boost. And West Brom, Birmingham. So Millwall, Birmingham, Bristol City all play tonight with their games in hand. I don't know when Ipswich play. But it's getting tighter up there. And we really we need quality. And I tell you what, in January, my first and it's obviously easy saying it, you have to go and do it, you need money to do it. We need to get a striker or two or somebody different to what we've got. Everybody knows the gig now. Conway will run about here and everywhere. There's no link-up play. Conway has to get a partner. Last night he was isolated, long periods, hardly get a kick, never the shot in Saturday, Oxford. 2 goals out of 17 games. Ridiculous. It's not acceptable. And it's not just his fault. I think the recruitment has not got the right players in. And we need 2 up top, not 1. 1 isolated up front's no good, especially if he's running here and everywhere. Get your man Strelic in. We paid £6 million. Where is he? Get him up front. Put somebody with him. Not even a number 10. Get 2 up there. Let them form a partnership. Become telepathic. Help each other. Close down. Harass. Hunt as a pair in the pack. And I'm sure that'll work, providing we get service in. But the minute we've got 1 striker just run about like headless chickens, no good. We need a decent striker. Bernie Conway puts that chance away, and it's game changers. If you call him Ibbotson, it was put on a plate, and he well and truly dropped it. I'll be honest, he's not a goal scorer. He'll score goals, but he's not a goal scorer. Why? Because I've seen him in other positions, and he wants to put a hole in the goalkeeper. I've never seen a ball going through a human being, but he puts power every time. Never puts the brakes on, picks his spot, and caresses it into the corners. That's not his style. But the best passing team in the league, Bernard, that's it. Graham Addison. Yep, lot of possession, but flattened to deceive. I agree. You know, it's all about strong goals. I'm not bothered about possession. If we've 20% possession and 1-1-0, I'll take it. Martin Whitehead says, I think Target in Britain can put an all-on from wing-backs. That's not the issue. The issue is we don't have anyone who can get on the end of it. Well, do you know what, Martin? I don't agree with you. I've seen every game. You might have seen every game. Maybe we see different games. But I think they help out defensively. But when they're in the last third, the quality of service isn't good enough. You might get the odd ball you go, hey, that's a good ball. But they need to do it every week. If I was this Hellberg, what I'd be doing, Martin, I'd be saying, players, after training, the official training, I want you staying behind every day, fin out of this summer. Every day, bag of balls, the wing backs, full backs, whatever you want to call them, square pegs, round holes. Get the balls out of them. You keep whipping them in every day of the week, every day. Fin out at the end of the season. Forwards, get your movement, start talking, get in there, finish them off. I did it. I don't think we're doing it. I don't see any evidence we're doing it. I don't think Strelic has been given a chance. No, he's not. So you can't write him off. Same with Hansen. Man, I totally agree. Strelic is I think he'll be a player. But he can't form a partnership with Conway because Conway just is here, there and everywhere. He's like a stray dog. And you need somebody to help Strelic. Maybe Conway's told to do that. Is any of the local rags reporters actually asked, are you told to run here, there and everywhere like a hose pipe and go everywhere and don't help me? I'd wring his neck if I was playing with him. I used to go deep. For the big lads, I used to come deep and they would say, push up in the midfield, say, come on, Bernie, push up a bit. Don't see any of that happening. I expected one last night. Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah. But I think they still got a game in hand. Well, I looked at the table before we come on and they still had the game in hand. Joey Henry says, Switch won last night, of course, at 2-0 Hill. Joey Henry, hiya, Joey. Bernie, do you think the wheels have fallen off? Conway will play as number 10 under... So Joey, who is an ardent Borough fan, travels the country, has done for years, European football and all that. She's saying Conway will play as number 10. Well, I'll tell you what, the man I see number 10 My first train of thought would be McGree. McGree's got a bit of footballing brain. He can score some great goals. He can create. I know he's just getting back to fitness, but I would, for me, Conway wouldn't be number 10. I tell you another one, Whitaker. 4 goals, 19 at Plymouth Argyle as a number 10. We play him outside right. In the main since he's arrived for 5 million quid or whatever. Give him a chance, number 10. What was a critical match, Bernie? We should have at least a draw. This is for Martin Peachy. If Conway finishes that tap-in, we could have held on to a win. I think I agree with that. But that would have killed them, I think. I remember, Bernie, you went for mayor. You would have been a mayor. Nightmare. We have to win on Saturday, Martin. Yeah, mayor's job. Imagine me being a mayor. Not got a clue about politics. They're all bent as bananas. I wouldn't want to be in that industry. Stephen Bentley says, we say this every season. It's the same problem all the time. How many strikers we get? Never works out. We ruin forwards every year. We have killed a few over the years, like, but we have brought in some rubbish and spent millions on them. Lizzie Coates says, I told days ago what would happen. I expected nothing more. I stayed in the lounge last night. I draw at the very best. And when we were back to 2-2, I thought, hey, draw. But I still don't think draw is a good point at home, no matter who we're playing. But home form's been really good. Unbeaten, weren't we, this season? James Sewell says, Strelic has to start as a target man and build around him. He's a proven striker. But for some reason, when they have been playing him, he's in a 10 or on the wing, clueless. But the thing is, we've had, this is Helberg coming out as our 4th coach in a small period, a short period. And nobody knows, and I think the reason they don't know who our best attacking-minded players are is because I don't think we have got any that's the best. You know, you look at the right wing when we Doak, natural right winger. Quick, direct, skillful, drive to the byline, get balls whipped in, bit of cheating arrogance, roll the sleeves up, point the finger. I don't see any other wide men doing that. Forwards, when they get in the box and they don't get the ball in, I don't see them having a moan at them. So, yeah, this should be on for quite some time. But scoring goals is the hardest thing in the game to do. And obviously, to get the best, well, saying that, 100 million for your man at Liverpool, he's not kicked his ass. Will we beat Derby for Enzo? Hi, Enzo. Derby's, is it 1 defeat in 5 or 6 games, something like that? So they're on a bit of a run. Leslie, Borough keep me rich. Well, Leslie, Gary Bickerstaff says, Sims was a handful last night, something that we don't have. Look, I played 8 years at Middlesbrough for the younger viewers. I could not play up front on my own. I wasn't tough enough. I didn't ruffle feathers. But when we put a big man up there, I would feed off the big man. He would take the bumps and the bruises and the scars, and I would feed off him. And I would get what they call the crumbs. But we would link up every time. If I went deep and a ball went over my head into Ian Baird or Paul Wilkinson or Archie Stevens, I would spin and go in and give them support. We don't do that. We don't do that. Conway goes deep, that's the end of it. The ball gets played up and somebody has to tuck in and fill in for the front man because you're at a position and we've only got one up front. I mean, Conway, dear mate, he must be frustrated himself. He's not scoring goals. He's missed a sitter last night. He's not getting help. But when Strelic was in there, that was his opportunity to try and help Strelic and link up a partnership. Maybe he's told not to. I don't know. Some of the local journalists, ask them when you talk to them. Sims was a handful. I mean, he scored 2 goals apiece, and the top scorer went off. The lad that would get injured with the dreadlocks first half, he's the top scorer. I think he had 10. Jonathan Monk, is it? Hi, Bernie. Do you think Senny deserves a few more chances starting games up top? Well, Jonathan, if I was Senny or Hansen or Strelic, I'd be looking and going, how am I on your team? I'd be knocking the coach's door and saying, listen, this guy scored last goal in August. We're going into December. If I don't get a chance now, I'm never getting a chance. You might as well sell me or get rid of me. I don't get it. Where are we here? Coventry were a massive threat in the air. As soon as Conway missed that chance, we knew we would get punished for it. I knew they would have a spell, Robert. And it was all, don't forget, it was 2 goals in 2 minutes. And the first 2 goals, I think it was 2 and 4. Hopefully Hellberg brings a striker. Well, Josh, he has to, because he can't just make a striker turn into a goal-scoring magician. He's not a magician, and the centre-forward's certainly not a magician. But the centre-forward, they need to work as a pair. This one up front is nonsense. As I say, we need a tradesman, not an apprentice. And we need a tradesman number 10, and we need a tradesman on the right wing and a tradesman on the left wing. We're just putting guys in there, filling gaps. I prefer, rather than apprentices, I prefer the real deal, the pros. He's a right winger, get him out the right wing. He's a left, get him. But we don't. We've just got all these guys going forward that don't really know the roles, who don't really play in those positions. That Sims who played for Sunderland is a right handful. He did play for Sunderland. A big unit, that is exactly what we don't have, and it's what we need. And that was for Trevor Chavel. And Enzo says, I turned off when we were 2-0 down. Leslie says, of course we'll beat Derby. I expect nothing less. I judge the manager on the next away game to see if we've changed. Great support, that, Enzo. Where was Strelick last night? If he's injured, don't they tell us? I don't know where he was. Did he go on international duty? I don't know. But he's not been in team sheet the last couple of games, has he? Lee Anderson says, Conway's not a striker. He has missed numerous 1-on-1s, and last night miss was unbelievable and cost us the game. You see the whole team's energy drop. Oh, that knocked his stuffing out us. As soon as that happened, that was it. They lifted on the back of that, because they knew they were very, very lucky to get off the hook. As I say, even my own son, when he played, when he was younger, he used to watch YouTube and that. I've seen you go with tap-ins. Everybody can do that. And then I watched him one Sunday and he was missing them. I went, that's how easy it is. Well, you seen last night how easy it is. 25 foot in the air. Conway's not a striker, but he's up front in his own. He's not got the presence. He's not great at holding it up. He's lightweight. He runs about. That's it. Dear me, I really don't understand what's in the club's head getting players that just run about. Maybe they encourage it. But I tell you what, if I was Conway and I was being told to just run about like a headless chicken, I'd be knocking the coach. I was going to say knock the coach down. I wouldn't. I'd knock the door down and see what's going on. I've got 2 goals in 17. I'm meant to be a striker. I'm an international class player, or an international player with Scotland. I'm not in the squad at the minute. I'm not going to get in for the World Cup playing like this and use playing me the way you're doing. Martin Lockie says, when I attended that open free coaching session at Riverside earlier this season, all I saw was the players working on fitness, stamina and passing exercises. There was very little shooting practice, which is disappointing since we are lacking so much in the final third. I agree with you, Bernie. We should keep the wing backs and the attackers back after training, or put on more training and get them to keep crossing the balls and get some proper shooting practice in. No, but do you know what? The players should be saying to the coach, if they're not doing it, say, listen, we're going to stay behind every day. Find out at the end of the season. We're crossing the ball, we're selecting our passes, the quality delivery, not good enough. Forwards, well, we need to start working together and talking where we're going to be. And they need to work it every day. I did it. I was scoring goals and Bruce Real condemned me locally and nationally in the papers. He can't score away from home. He can't score from outside the box. He's this, he's that. And I stayed behind with a bag of balls. I'll show you I can head the ball. I ended up scoring a couple of headers in the next few games because Bruce would wound me up. He didn't tell me to stay behind. He quizzed me. Do you ever practice when the official training's over? And that triggered me. Bag of balls. Get the young goalkeepers in. Frustrating seeing the ball coming into the edge of the box and players trapping it rather, then passing it back out instead. Sorry, that just jumped there. The final third problem will be a different animal. He's got a job on with our strikers, but we're still in a good position. Couple of signings in January. Well, I'll tell you what, if I was a striker or a wide man, I'd be concerned that I'm going to be replaced in January. We must bring firepower in January. Otherwise, we ain't going to make the top 6. I'll say it now. What I've seen this season, all well and good, but the last third's a big issue. And it's the creativity and the finishing, not good enough. Chris McGlade, hi Chris. I thought we played Coventry off the park. Well, for that up until the first 10 minutes we did in the first half, Chris. Thereafter, they scored 2 wonder goals. We pulled one back, and then second half it was all us. I thought we played Coventry off the park. Loads of lads in the Cleveland did too. But you were on the drink. I've clarity, man. I've not been drinking, Chris, away. We made them look ordinary. We just one click away from being unstoppable. And after seeing Herbert's reaction when he walked on the pitch, I think he's the one who's going to make us click. Let's hope he is, Chris. But as I say, you've either got it, you've got the credentials as a centre forward. You're either a goal scorer or you're not. You can polish a goal scorer, but you can't polish a turd, as they say. You'll understand that language. I'm not being disrespectful, but you know what I mean. You either got it or you've not. Andy Connor said, evening, Bernie. Hi, Andy. Hope you're well. Not the result we wanted, but a great game. It was a great game. We were describing it like a cup tie. There was tackles, it was end to end, there was misplaced passes, there was chances. It was exciting. It was enjoyable. We enjoyed. Everybody enjoyed it. Obviously, not the end of the game. And what an advert for the championship. Borough were the better side overall for me, but Coventry were class in the break. That was it. Last third. You know, the passing and intricate passing here, there, and everywhere, but people pay to score goals, to watch goals for the real entertainment. We also missed Brian Edmondson. Brian Edmondson missing, yeah. What's wrong with him? Strelick missing. What's up with him? So getting anything against any quality side was always going to be a big ask. On the plus side, there's still plenty of play. It's only one game, but that second spot is still up for grabs. Well, I mentioned that obviously Stoke have took over us at the minute, Andy, but still a long, long way to go. Steve May says, we played well, Bernie. The result didn't do us justice. Could you imagine if we score that goal and we won 3-2, 2-0 down, coming back and winning 3-2? What? That would have been unbelievable for confidence, morale, status. Unbelievable. Game-changing moments. Tommy's miss. Callum Britton, best in the league. Hellberg would have liked what he's seen from Hansen. Direct, skillful, and will run the channel, stretching defences, striker needing 100% without a doubt. You're right, by the way. How skillful was when he came off the bench? No, he's saying, so Steve May, he said, we played well, Bernie. Callum Britton, best in the league, he's a good player by Hellberg would have liked what he's seen of Hansen. Hansen was, how skillful was he? His movement sharp, dropping the shoulder. He looked to business, he did. Who would you bring in January, Bernie? Derek, I was asked this last night. I don't know who's available, and I don't know how much we've got at our disposal. So once we show the hand, how much we're going to pay or how much we've got, then I'll give you an idea who we're going to get. So at the minute, did Chris, he's the one who might make us clock more chance of me flowing. I don't know what you're on about, Leslie, man. Put it in English. Need to work in crossing as well. The quality's poor. Robert Butterfly McClucky. Robert says that. Strikers stay behind after every training session, official training session in the morning. Get in, forget getting the 6-packs and the body strength. That's important. But start scoring goals, start creating, start getting decent balls in the box. The problem our wide men is they have to put it on a plate. They can't put it 20 feet in the air. We've no strength in the air. We're not aggressive enough. There's no height. You know, look at their height last night. They won a fair few balls in there. Couple of good finishes. Chris Andrews, no, with both sides need 2 wingers and 2 strikers, at least one striker who's strong and can score goals with the head and feet. Everybody's seen it now. On here, 5-6 weeks ago, I was saying the same thing before the event, and some Borough fans were saying, yeah, but defence, we'll get there with our defence. We're rock solid. We let 4 in last night against a team that's flying, that scored something like 25 more goals than us. Wow. Was it 25? Unbelievable. Get my cat whiskey to play for the Borough. Get my cat whiskey. It's a funny name for the cat, Enzo. Max Allen says, evening, Bernie. Hiya, Max. Having 60% possession means nothing. The quality between the two teams is chalk and cheese. As I say, it's all about scoring goals. Creativity and scoring goals. Hardest thing to do in the game is score goals. Bruce Rare says that to us. And I remember thinking, is it? But it is. And we are huffing and puffing to score goals. You look at that list, we'll talk about goals. Goals. Coventry, 47. That's in 17 league games. Stoke City, 25. Borough, 22. Ipswich, 28. Preston, 22. Bristol, 25. Now, Coventry, 47 goals in 17 league games. That's amazing. And our top scorer is a guy who still doesn't get any credit, Whittaker, who's now got 4. Hackney's got 3. Conway's got 2. Own goals got 2. Where are we? You need Sir Gareth, Tommy Hunter. Sir Gareth. No, Gareth Southgate. What you on about? We need Sir Gareth. To do what? What do you mean? Thoughts on Tommy Conway, Phil the Butcher. Does it say Butcher? Phil Butcher. Phil Butcher. You're talking to a vegan, Phil. No, seriously. Thoughts on Tommy Conway. As I say, his work rate is phenomenal. But if I hear one more person telling me his work rate is phenomenal, which it is, but as I say at the top of the show here, I could go and pick a fit Borough fan out the crowd and say, listen, son, just you close down, harass, run here, there, everywhere, go everywhere, close everybody down, but don't score goals and don't create for anybody and don't hold it up. I could get a fan to do that job. You need more than that as a forward. You need to hold it up. You need to bring players into play. You need to spin. You need to play 1-2s in and around the box. A lot of times, Commy's not even in the box. And when he gets a chance, he needs to calm down and pick his spot. He's rash. He wants to bust the ball instead of caressing it. Yeah, for me, Tommy Conway, honest lad. No, for me, no as a centre forward, no chance. His goals will tell you that. When he first came in for 5 million, whatever it was, I think he got 13. 13 was all right. Wasn't it great? Now he's got 2 and 17. It's embarrassing. And I tell you what, I said last night in the lounge, I'll say it on here, and it's not, you call me what you want, pig-headed, whatever. In my heyday, if I was in that team now, don't forget we're the top 3. And we have been since the start of the season. There is no way on this planet Whittaker would have more goals than me. No chance. It wouldn't happen. If the ball went in and rebounded off the post, I'd be pushing them out of the way saying, here, that's my job, son. I'd be putting them in the net. I did it. I did it to guys like John Henry. And he was a great player. Unbelievable. I don't know how he did it, but he's never capped for Scotland. That's a myth. That's bizarre. But I would do that because I'm the scorer. I take pride in scoring goals. But don't seem to have that. We've got a big lad coming from American defence. For God's sake, Gary, we're talking about goals here. We're going back onto the defence. Who's supposed to be a great defender? A centre-half last night was the best crosser of the ball, and the wing get Fry up top. And do Paul Walhurst. Paul Walhurst played for Blackburn Rovers. Shearer was injured, and he ended up one of the top scorers in the top flight. He scored over 20 goals. One-off season. I don't think he'd have did it the following season. Chris Andrews says, have got anyone in a youth level or the reserves who can score goals till January? I don't think we have. I keep hearing Sonny Finch. Where's he? Is he gone on loan or something? I don't know anybody that. We've got Senny, we've got Hansen, we've got Strellick, we've got Conway. That's it. Thought we got some kids scored 16 goals in lower leagues. Chris, it's not going to happen. Again, you're throwing a young lad into a position where he doesn't get any ammunition. So you give him a pop gun or a gun with no ammunition. James Banks says, hi, Bernie. If we play as a team with the same commitment as last night, with the strongest team, we'll take some beating. Just need a finisher. Yeah, we just need a finisher. When are we going to get one? Hiya, Bernie. Do you think Hellberg will drop Conway Saturday? And if it does, would you play Strellick and Senny and do the same? Do you think Hellberg will get the forward firing soon? Surely that has to be his main aim at the moment. That's for Steve Simmel. Steve, if I was Hellberg, I'm sure he's watched tapes of us or watched games. His priority must be the last third. That'd be his biggest concern. I don't think he'll say it publicly, but it is his biggest concern. He's not got the service, he's not got the finishing touch, and he's not a magician. He's not Harry Potter. So that'll be a concern for him. But he knows the January window's coming. Maybe he's been promised a few quid. Steve May says, Bernie, would you consider a deal for Mikel Antonio? Strong physical links, up play well. Without a doubt, Steve, that would be a fair guys give us something totally different. You know, a physical presence up front. See, we've no presence up front. There's no an aura. We're all small, and as I say, up front you need to have a, you know, people say, oh well, I didn't have a football brain because I got caught offside. So an elderly man last night when, so after the game, Bernie, that Comey's caught as many times offside as you when you played. And I went, yeah, but he won't get the goals I scored. That's when shut him up. But he's having a go at me. I'm not even playing. He's still bringing Conway up to me. He didn't say he got caught offside like you, Bernie, but you'd have scored that one. He didn't mention that. I'd have scored that last night with my Bova boots on. Shirley injured in international duty. I thought that. I'm using international duty. Adi says this in an interview after Oxford. Right, okay. That's one of the downsides when you get international players. David Seaman says, these days, there's not many goal machines like you, Bernie. Look, I'm not saying goal machine, but we need a striker that scores more than 2 goals in 17 games. We're a top of the league team. And I tell you now, if we don't address it in January, I cannot see us being in the top 6. But we've been wavering even when Rob Edwards is here. We've been wavering, you know, not hitting the heights we did at the start, getting draws, the odd defeat here and there. It's not as glamorous at the minute. And without adding to it, I cannot see how we're just going to make, unless they stay behind every day and practice their ass off, their nuts off, getting balls in the box, getting balls wide, getting whipped in. They have to practice. Top golfers. I'm not a golf enthusiast. I don't play golf, but you know that the golfers practice hundreds of balls, thousands of balls. They don't just turn up for the big events and turn it on and win these titles around the world. They practice. I don't know if modern players do that. I remember questioning this players, a good 10, 12 years ago. And I spoke to 1 or 2 players who were in the squad at the time. And I says, tell me, did a winger stay behind in strikers? And they went, no. Says, oh, really, did it? Want the money? Yeah, just do the official training. If you love it and you love football and you want to be the best, you need to stay behind. Conway's robbing 11, Christopher Allen. Atherton, sorry. Conway's robbing 11, needs to head up north where he'll actually score a few. I'd give that kid we signed a go. Can't do any worse. Was it from Whitby? Yeah, young kid from Whitby's come in. Lace your boots up, Bernie. Andrew Williamson. No, I'm not that stupid to think that I could just... Hey, I think I would have scored that one last night, but then again, I might have missed it. You know what I mean? No spring chicken. Michael Doherty says, give a bit of your time to Conway, Bernie. Tell you what, I would. If Conway phoned me up or got in touch with me and says, can we up for a coffee and a chat, and what do you think as an ex-striker and connected with Borough in the 40 years I've been here, I would give him advice. And I wouldn't fanny around and skit around. I say, you're on the bit my hosepipe, Tommy. You know, and when you're through and goal, you're lashing at it. Want to bust the ball, take the innings out of it. No, calm down. And I'd give him advice, what I see. If I was his pal, I'd be telling him. I don't know Tommy Conway. But he doesn't look short of confidence. He did last night coming off the bench, coming off onto the bench, getting taken off. He did look a bit down. Surely Gilbert's due running the team. He was brought in the back, scoring a hatful for Brentford reserves, so it can't be any worse than someone, even the jocks are overlooking for the national squad. That's the top tick. It's good top tick. I agree. If I was a so-called attacking player and I was watching what's happening in the last third, I would be confronting somebody saying, listen, I'm on the bench, I'm in the stand, 1 week I'm not even in the squad. What's going on? When are we getting an opportunity? How long do you need to wait? We've been firing blank for so long. a Chris Wood style striker for Andrew Williamson. Steve Daly says, hopefully Kim can attract a 6'4" striker who can hit the net. Too much tippy-tapping all over the pitch. As I say, the tippy-tappy is fine, but it flatters to deceive sometime, and stats don't lie. You know, somebody says to me, always 70% possession. Say it was Hackney, 95% accuracy in passing. Well, it's flawed. Stats are flawed, except goals for and goals against. You know, I could be passing it 5 yards. My granny could pass it 5 yards 90 times, 90%. Oh, there you are. It's defence splitting passes we want. They're the ones that you need real class. Steve Daly, hopefully, I've said that, sorry. Andrew says, our defence was diabolical last night, Bernie, and I hope Dale Fry is fit enough to play on Saturday. Also, I hope Strelick plays on Saturday if he's fit enough. Also, Conway should be dropped for the Derby match because he played terrible in last night's game because he's some good chances. The thing is, it might. I would think that Tommy Conway, if he's not kidding himself on, would look in the mirror and thinking, 2 goals in 17, I'm having a mare. He might be thinking, I'm not getting opportunities. I'm starved up here. He might be thinking, I should maybe hang around the box. But if he doesn't get his house in order, he's going to be at the team. And come January, there'll be new faces in. I've no doubt in that. Conway struts about like Andy Payton. Remember him, Bernard? Got injured first game. He did, Trevor. Andy Payton was quick. And Andy Payton, the first game was at Bristol. And I remember the papers saying, oh, Andy Payton's going to replace Slavin. In the first game, Andy scored. I know Andy, I like Andy. Andy scored, and then he got injured. And then I scored. And then I think Andy was out the next game. And then eventually he ended up moving on. He went to Celtic. So David Seaman says, when Dale Fry doesn't play, I fear for the result. He's clearly our best defender. Look, Dale's a fine player, local lad, does well as shot with pride, genuinely. I don't think there's a lot in the modern game. They're just Smithers running down the country. It's a job. They come in, do their bit, get well paid, see you later. But Dale's been here for a number of years, played under numerous managers and coaches, and he gives it his all. And he's been in fine form and fine fettle, but unfortunately he's injured. Jay Shaw, but where did the injuries come from? I'm fed up players getting injured. Training again, is it? Jay Shaw says Aidan Morris hasn't been the same player since he got called up for the USA. Aidan Morris has still had a fine season, and he got injured last night. I don't know the extent of his injury and how bad or how good it is. So let's bet he recovers quickly. But I still think we've got too many Morris, Hackney, Brown, similar. Overdoing it. How about pushing one up front? No one of them, somebody. David Baker says, interesting that I noticed the Coventry players practicing shots at goal in the warm-up. A couple of years ago, we were leaving one lone striker up front to no avail. Now we have 3 forwards and no confidence. Well done, Whittaker, but I can't see him scoring 20 a season. We need fit defenders and capable strikers. Well, David, you're not wrong. I think that's been a theme throughout. But I'm still... It's still a myth as to how centre-halves get injured as regular and as frequently as our centre-halves. Last year there was 3 or 4 injured. This year there's 3 or 4 injured. What's going on? Centre-halves were never injured in my day. Centre-halves used to make centre-forwards injured. They used to kick lumps at them. No, I just think we're spoiled. What's up with Strelick? Steve, according to one of the lads, he got injured in international duty, and that's why he didn't play. So obviously that's one of the downsides. Replying to Steve, yeah, he says international duty. Paul Wells says, back to basics, stop the crosses going in the box. You stop the threat they had last night. Yeah, but we need to flip it, Paul. Get quality into the box and get guys on the end of them, and we win games. That was there for, they were there for the taking, especially in the second half. When they scored their own goal, it traumatised them for a bit. And then we were right in it. And as I say, the defining moment was when the ball got whipped in, and we'll say it throughout, you know, Conway missed it. Look, strikers do miss chances, but when you've had a barren spell since August, it starts to bite away at you. My ratio was 1 every 2.5 games. But I did hit a spell, 10, 11 games. I couldn't hit I keep reading bits about Tommy Conway, couldn't hit a band door, cows asked with a banjo. I get all that. I probably had that back then. But I was one every 2.5 games, which is a good ratio. But I did hit one barren spell, and I was depressed at the time. I didn't probably know it, but I was. I wasn't enjoying training. I wasn't enjoying games. Bruce kept picking me. And then one day Bruce confronted me. It was Aston Villa. It was on the TV, which was unusual. We were the division below the top. And Bruce says, look, I believe in you. Come on, I know you've had a bit of a bad spell, but I'm a fan of yours, da. And G'd me up, stroked my ego. And that game, I had a couple of chances. One led to a goal. We beat Aston Villa live in the telly. Tony Mowbray flying header. I got a shot and came back, and I think it was Alan Kernigan scored the rebound. And that was me. Next game, back in the goal trail. Back scoring goals regular. Maybe Tommy Conway needs a wee break like that. That could have been the break last night that made him to get back in the groove. But back to basics, stop crosses, going, I've read that. Paul Wells says, biggest disappointment last night was a less than half full stadium at the end. At a time, we need to stick together. So many deserted last night. It was embarrassing to witness. I had a few people run about me saying that, Paul. Look, fans are entitled to leave when they want, come in when they want, shout when they want. I don't mean swear, but shout. Yeah, boo, whatever. I like to see fans staying to the bitter end, especially when the players are putting in a shift. The players put in an honest shift for half an hour, 35 minutes of the second half. We were better than them. We should have been in top, should have took the lead. We didn't. And then the fans just buggered off. Gary says, going into the World Cup year, I am sure we may be able to bring in someone who wants to get into one of the international squads and they haven't played much this season. Possibly. Chris Andrews says, only player who has the balls to shoot is Whittaker. I think we what is that? Dip out the top 6 to 15th, Bernie. Now the chasing pack have caught us. Oh, there's no doubt the pack's chasing us and they're closing the gap. I see there's a few games tonight they can close the gap. But it's the last third. We're going into December, and then before we know it, the window will be here, the window of opportunity or the window of dread. And everybody praised the recruitment in summer, but there's no evidence. There is certain players that's turned it on, but there's no evidence that the recruitment for the front line has benefited the team. It's not. It takes time to settle, of course, but we need to strike a partnership. Get 2 up top. What's the problem with 2 up top? I don't get it. One team does it, everybody does it, we don't need a forward, we play 1 up top. Get 2 up top. Coventry definitely played into a weakness against Brown and Ayling. Lack of spread and height. Speed, I think it means. Apart from, this is for Nick Henderson, lack of speed and height. Sorry, so a lot disappeared. Just as I thought, didn't Kernigan play up top for a while? He did. Alan Kernigan wanted to be a centre forward, became a centre half, went for Middlesbrough for I think it was $1.5 million to Man City. David Campbell says, last night hurt, but there was a lot of positives to come back. Show character at 2-0 down. The best team against the best team in the division shows we really good characters in the dressing room, pulling in the same direction. I thought Britton and Whittaker played really well. Cam Whittaker, book boys, give it a... Cam Whittaker, boo boys, give it a rest. He's the only one looking capable of scoring at the minute. I agree with that. And you will kill his confidence booing him. Thought the atmosphere was brilliant from both sets of fans. Hansen made a good impact. Looks completely unfit. Difference was they had a proper centre halves who aggressively attacked the ball in both boxes, and they have a top physical striker in Sims, where we have Conway, who is utterly garbage. I won't go on saying that. I think about what I think about him, as I think it's clear as day what I have previously said about him for the past year. Fans are starting to see new era starts, and hopefully starts with a big 3 points this Saturday. So it's a long-winded one, but I wanted to acknowledge David putting effort into his text, and there's a lot I agree with. Steve Dale says 4-4-2 needed. This new way of playing, we aren't good enough to play from the back. But I said, I played 4-4-2 in the main when I played. It wasn't 100 years ago. and it was successful. Could we get 3 promotions? There was other times, because of lack of quality or lack of money or trouble with the club financially, we stuttered. But 4-4-2, we played with natural wingers. John Henry, Stuart Ripley, Alan Comfort. You know, we had strikers, wingers, natural wingers. We had a host of wingers in Karanka get rid of all 3. We had Carriol, Adam Reach, and Albert Adoma. Remember them? We had all them, all left piggers, and Karanka come in and get rid of a lot of them. Good old Karanka. Somebody did cheating audacity last night. Said Karanka, great manager. Karanka got his promotion. Great manager. He was a coach, but great coach. Negative coach. Went 7.5 games without a goal. I used to go to the games not overly excited. When Robbo was in charge the season we went down, I loved every game. I knew who was playing where. I knew we were going to turn it on and put on a show with a bit of style and class. We were getting beat, admittedly, and I still can't believe that team get relegated. But that was football, pure football. You know, some football these days is boring. I've heard a lot of people saying that. I watch games on the telly. I nod off. I think, dear God, this is terrible. I watch my boyhood heroes Celtic. I didn't even know they were playing, right? And I don't. I can't even confess that I know every game that's on. And was it Sunday night? Sunday night. I'm sure it was Sunday night. 8 o'clock. I was at Saturday night, 8 o'clock. It's Sunday night, 8 o'clock. So it's at Mirren Celtic. I thought, nothing. Put it on. Absolute garbage. Passing was awful. No shots. Boring 0-0. Celtic scored in the 90 whatever minute, but didn't deserve it. It was garbage. The atmosphere was nil. At least last night we had a good atmosphere. We're up against a very good team. There was entertainment. It's just unfortunate that it was 4-2 and 5 of the goals were scored with them. We only scored 1, and that was Whittaker. And some people still don't take to Whittaker. Play Whittaker as number 10. He was the best player last night by far. Well, Chris, this is what I'm saying. Maybe it's not Whittaker's fault. The Blue Boys sometimes get on his case. Maybe it's not his fault. It's the club's fault and the coach's fault. Because he plays number 10. He got 19 goals with Plymouth Argyle, as far as I know, playing number 10. So why are we playing him on the right since he arrived? For a lot of money. For us, a lot of money. I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's square pegs round holes. Who's the number 10 at the minute? There's nobody that fits the bill. Azaz did fit the bill because he created and scored goals. Wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but stats tell you he was very good last year. And how he never got Player of the Year, or at least one of them, they gave it to Hackney and Conway. I found that dumbfounded. He was the most creative player. He's starting to come alive now, doing it Ipswich, isn't he? Steve Dale says, photo here, man. Play Whittaker, I've mentioned that, sorry. I noticed the ref had a solid game for once. He did, Chris. I was sitting with Big Jeff the ref, Jeff Winter, my pal, and he actually pointed out to me, maybe he says it regularly, I don't agree, but he says he's having a good game, and I thought he did have a good game. Because we never really seen him, we let the game flow. There was a few challenges, and he got a few right. Not many wrong, so I agree. Decent referee. Where's Justed when we need him? Well, let's be honest, he could not be any worse than the current hosepipe Conway. Rudy Justed, what a waste of money he was. He was another guy that we squandered money in, who was very average. Rudy Justed, some kind of. I'm going to read a few of these. We've got a wee break there. Bernie, what do you make of a strike force? Well, I said, John, we've not got one, so I don't need to really dwell on that. Conway couldn't score in Amsterdam. That's for Jeff. A bit of sarcasm there, Jeff. Cole says, how do you think Hellberg will do? Well, he's not a magician. And then the last third, I think he's really got his work cut out. Lee says, Whittaker has proven his critics wrong, Bernie. 4 goals. We've mentioned that throughout. Tom says, how many more forwards do we need? Conway, Strelick, Hansen, Berzog, Senny, anything. Where does Berzog play? Where's his best position? Where's Conway's best position? Where's McGree's best position? I don't know. We don't know. The club don't know. Coventry fan in peace. Really hope you boys get set and good luck for the season. Johnny, thanks for that. Well done, Coventry. You're amazing. Your goals were the two goals, the 2 opening goals They were on a par with some of the goals Scotland scored to qualify for the World Cup. Great goals. I mean, that the run with the lad, somebody should have wiped him out, but they never. But some bit of skill, layoff, and the finish was amazing. And the second goal, the technique, sort of a half volley into the guy, and the guy bullet header. Great. Phil Back says, Bernie, if Bamford stays fit for Sheffield, he's a free agent in January. Would you bring him back? But you know what, Phil? No. We keep bringing same players back and they don't do it. Giles is a prime example. I know he costs nothing. Would he be worth a gamble? Well, he'd give us something different. And I'll tell you what he has got, Bamford. He's intelligent. Leads the line well. He can hold it up. Yeah. I'm meeting him up. I would. If it costs nothing, yeah, get him in. I would. Australia will be playing Saturday, and I guarantee he will score. What is his space? He's not injured. So, Phil, thinking about Bamford, yeah, he's already been here twice. If he comes back a third time, we did it with Janino, so why not? How many more forwards do we need? No, I've mentioned that. Sam says commitment is one thing, class is another. Unfortunately, we lack it. TC says goals win games, not keeping possession. I think we've mentioned that as well. January can't come fast enough. We got to get the width and forward line right quickly. We can hold on the top six. Yeah, I would say if we can keep in that where we are, round about third to sixth, keep in that gap up the top, and then refresh it in January. Conway, 12 games, no goals. That's for Ted. Leo says, Bernie, where's Strelic? Well, we've mentioned it throughout. He's meant to be injured internationally. Jojo says, men v boys going forward. Neil, how good was Coventry's first goal? But no one tackled him. Bob says, couldn't hit a barn door. Lenny says, Borough will be a championship club for many, many, many years. It's designed. I don't know what that's for. Louis says, Swedish manager. Terry says, playoffs if Borough are lucky. I'll read these out and then I think that's time, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks for joining us, by the way. I know it's different. I just thought we'd do it a bit early. I usually do it late on because there's games tonight in the Championship and obviously Europe. Ted says, Rolf says, new coach Hellberg was your choice. As I say, Rob Edwards wasn't my choice. Hellberg I'd never heard of the team that he coached. Bit surprised we went for somebody that was in a job when there was 9 guys out there on the dole, floating around with good CVs. But hey, good luck to the lad. I'm sure the Borough fans will give him they gave him a great reception last night and they'll get behind him. And good luck to him and his coaching staff. Where was Alien last night? I think that's been sarcastic for Craig. Conway was immense off the ball. For Joe, I didn't see it. Chris says, enjoyed the game. Coventry of goal scorers. We are hopeless. Jimmy says the defeat doesn't reflect the performance. Well, it highlights the deficiencies in the last third. Hey, we were as good as them second half without a doubt. We were better than them. Should have won it, but we didn't. It's all ifs, buts, and maybes. Oliver says, how many goals have they scored? Well, as I say, they're about 25 goals more. That says it all. Should be looking at Josh Sargent or Adam Armstrong in January, proven goal scorers. That's what we need. Goal scorers, guys that put the ball in the net, fox in the box, not somebody that runs 100 miles, somebody gets 100 goals. That'd be nice. Stephen says, bottom half by Christmas. Come on, Stephen, turn it up. Ben Conway should have scored. Tap in. You could have scored that with your flip-flops on, Bernie. I'm not so sure about that. Don't like flip-flops. Eddie says Coventry could and should have scored 4 or 5 in the first half. Troy says Morris off. Let's hope he's back soon. I think we will. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hackney went in January. Obviously, Hackney has to agree and somebody else has to come in because he's quite clearly not going to Ipswich. But I wouldn't be surprised. John says, competed well last night, but in the opponent's half, atrocious. That's John's words. Cal says, all blame Conway, but concede 2 goals in 4 minutes and then 2 in 2 minutes. That's a fair point as well. So listen, thanks very much for joining us. If you want to listen to my Total BS podcast, goes out every Monday. You can rewind it. There's a host of them there over the years. There's plenty past and present players, guys like Akpom, Tony Mowbray, Brian Clough, you can get them all. So, and Stewie Bohm, I put Stewie Bohm, who sadly passed away recently. There was an interview, it was just under 10 minutes, and I dug it out because I knew Stewie and I was a fan of Stewie's, and I knew he had a great partnership with the late great Willie Madron. I was Willie's last signing, so I dug it out the archives and I put it on the other night. So it's worth a listen. Stewie tells you how in love in Middlesbrough he was. He's not from here, but he loved it. He was captain, played with guys like Souness and co. He was shipped out to Newcastle, didn't want to go. He was getting more money, but he wanted to stay at Middlesbrough. But at the end of the day, it's business, isn't it? So listen, thanks very much for joining us. Roll on Saturday. I'll be back probably about 6:30 to 7:30 Saturday, hopefully discussing a victory and a good performance. Thanks very much for joining us. Cheers. Cheers.